Okay, this is ICS321, and I'm going to show you my solution to Assignment 3, Part 2. In this assignment, you recall it's a multi-valued dependencies problem, and the scenario is we have this restaurant called the Seasoned Steak and Side Restaurant, and it has a small selection of specially designed dinners, each of which includes a specially seasoned main course, a specially seasoned side dish, and just the right wine. And so you recall in this scenario from a previous problem, the chef sommelier has rules regarding side dishes and wine that can be served in the same meal as the main dish. So consider the following 4NF database for the dependencies. Now we see that, and this is fully reduced. So we have a main dish here, and the primary key for each of these tables is it's all key. So we have the main dish. These are the dependencies. The side dish is dependent on the main dish. And so with salmon steak, you can have either mashed potatoes. You can pair with either mashed potatoes or white rice. With the beef steak, you can pair that with either a baked potato or mashed potatoes. And you cannot pair it with white rice because it's not listed here. And the baked chicken, you can pair with mashed potatoes or a sweet potato. And the grilled pork chop, you can only pair with potato salad. Made up scenario. For the wines, we have that salmon steak goes well with Pinot Grigio or Chardonnay. Beef steak goes well with Cabernet Sauvignon or Pinot Noir. And baked chicken goes good with Chardonnay or Pinot Grigio. We have grilled pork chop with the Beaujolais or Chardonnay. All right. So each day, the manager decides on a new menu based on inventory. The menu consists of meal combinations containing one main dish, one side dish, and one type of wine. For example, one day's menu could be as follows, where we have salmon steak, mashed potatoes, Pinot Grigio. We offer salmon steak with white rice, or we have these six meals here, and the idea is that the patrons can only order meals off this menu. This table also is all key. You recall the original problem was to explain why anomalies could still occur in tables like this, even though they're all key, even though they're BCNF. And the reason is because these multi-valued dependencies where salmon steak determines one of two things, just one of two things, and beef steak, the main dish determines one of two. So I ask you first to write a stored procedure that will accept a main dish, a side dish, and a wine combination for the menu for a date, and reject any combination violating the multi-value constraints. And then I'd like you to write a PHP program. Three I have listed here is fine, or you can combine it into one if you'd like to. One which lets the user enter a valid meal combination for a particular day. One which displays the menu for a particular day. And finally, one that you use for reference that displays all the valid meal combinations. Okay, now I've gone over with you how you can import this to your database. I've got a database here, and I've already imported it in. Just to review, let me just, you can, with an Excel spreadsheet, you can, for example, copy this, go like this and do a copy, and then go over to Excel and do a right-click this when it pastes in. And so we can double-click here, and we see that this is the main dish, side dish table. And we can do the same thing for the other one. And then once it's in Excel, we can copy it from here. Copy it, do right-click copy. And then pull up your favorite, text editor and paste it in here, and then this is a tab delimited. This is a tab delimited spreadsheet. So this you can save and save it as a tab delimited spreadsheet. This is main side.txt, say, and then you simply import it by going to the database, and you click import, and you choose the file, find the file. Let's see, it is in here, I believe, this one. And it is you select CSV, it's text with character separation. And it's not a comma separated, it's tab, so you do you change the comma to a \T for tab. You make sure you click this first line of the file contains the table column names, and you select go. And you'll notice that it gets popped up here. We can look at the table, and this is your table. And you can go back and set the primary key. You can rename the table test, and you main side, whatever. But we already have I've already imported them up like this, and they look like this. And if you look at the structure of these, you notice I've set the primary keys. So that's what it looks like after the tables have been imported. Now the question is, what sort of table do you use to store the actual daily menus? Well, if you think about it just a little bit, you come up with a solution that looks like this, where you have one field which is the menu date, and then the main dish, the side dish, and the wine. And so that way you can just search on the menu date and display all of the records or all of the tuples or all of the actual meals. And so look, I've got meals in here for yesterday and today, it looks like already. So that's what and if you want to look at the structure of this, this is what you have to create using the create table. You go over to tables, or you click create new table, and this is where you create this daily menus table, I call it. The structure is you've got a date field for the menu. This is all key. You have a menu date, the side dish, the main dish, side dish, and the wine. And I just chose varchar 50 for each of the dishes and wines. It's a date field for the menu date. These just have to be compatible with the main side table, which is varchar. And these were set 17 and 50 when they were uploaded. And what PHP my admin does is it looks for the longest field that was updated in that occurred in that column, and then that's the size that it sets it to. And so you could go in here and change these to varchar 50 if you wanted to, but we're not going to bother doing that now. All right, so if we go back to the assignment, let's see, that's right here. The first thing, let's first look at this last one. Oh no, let's look at the stored procedure first. Okay, so let me show you that solution. Over here, go up to routines, and this is my add meal stored procedure. It looks like this. We've got these input. I've sort of abbreviated these. You have to be careful not to make these input and output parameters be the same as variables and field names inside here, even if they're uppercase and lowercase. It caused me a problem by using wine lowercase and then wine uppercase, and that I spent a little bit of time trying to figure that out. But so you've got you're going to be inputting the date you're going to be inputting the main dish. You're going to be inputting a side dish. You're going to be inputting a wine, and then there's an output message which tells you the status. Now, this is kind of hard to see. I actually have it here. This is my store procedure. We start by declaring a variable num, which is going to see. We're going to see. First, we're going to look at the meal to see if it's valid. And the way we're going to look at the meal to see if it's valid is we're going to look at all the possible valid meals. Actually, now's a good time for me to show you this third spreadsheet here that I created. It is. Let's see this. I want this to be. This table, or this PHP page that I've created, valid meals. First, I list the three possibilities. The tables. There aren't tables with this, but I list what all the possible main dishes are, what all the possible side dishes are, and what the possible wines are. Now, all of these, the combination of all these is not valid, of course, because of the multi-valued dependencies, main dish influencing both the other two. But these are all the possible meal combinations, if we were to assume that any combination were valid. And so it's basically, how many of them are there? There's 4 times 5 times 5, which is about 4 times 20, which is 4 times 25, which is 100. So I guess there's 100 of. Oh, here we go, 100. And so these are all the possible meal combinations. Baked chicken, mashed potatoes, Chardonnay, but of course some of these are not valid, like baked chicken, mashed potatoes, Pinot Grigio. No, that might be the Pinot. Baked chicken, mashed potatoes, Cabernet Sauvignon probably is not valid. Well, this is not valid. Baked chicken with Pinot Noir. So anyway, so that's this, and this is the tables that we've input. These are tell us what the multi-valued dependencies are. What you can have with baked chicken, what side dish you can have with baked chicken, and what wine you can have with baked chicken, for example. And so if you join these two, natural join these two, main dish is the common field. These are the possible valid fields. So there are 14 of them, and these are all the possible. Now, we don't serve all of these meals every day because it's the manager looks at the inventory, and if there's not enough grilled pork chop, he or she leaves the grilled pork chop off the menu, and so on. So that's kind of how this works. The manager decides on meals, and the store procedure verifies that the proposed meal is in the set of valid meals. If it is, it pops it into the daily menus table. So if you want, we can take a quick peek at this page. This is the valid meals, and slowly here, this is my database, and this include file connects me with my username and makes the database connection. So I put that in there, and of course yours will be different because you'll have a different database name, you'll have a different username, and so on. We've covered that in other videos. So here it starts with valid meals. Let's take a look. We can put this side by side. This. So we start out with the main dish, which is simply select distinct main dish from main side. I could have used either table, but I just want a the distinct main dishes. It's a projection, and then I just display those out. This is the table header, and I just display them out one at a time, and it gets this. And that's in the first column. The second column is side dish. Select side dish from main side and display them out. That's this. And the third one is wine. Select distinct wine from main wine and echo it out here, and that gives us this. Possible meal combinations. We have main dish, side dish, and here. So here I just take this, join this, join this. Okay? So I select all from this is the wine, join the side dish. I did it kind of in reverse order. All the wines, join the side dish, joined with the side dish, joined with the main dish, and you get the 100 combinations displaying out main dish, side dish, and wine, and that gives us this here. You notice in the first, I set I equal to 0, and the first column is this I, so this increments up. So this gives me the count here. Okay? And then the valid dish pairings, this is where we take, so here I'm just reading the main side table, displaying it out, and I'm reading the main wine table and displaying it out. So that gives me, and this is the second column, and the main side table is the first column, so that gives me this table and this table. And then the last valid meals table here is this, I select main side, natural join, main wine. So this, the join dependencies here. And this gives us the set of valid wine meal combinations. So we just read it up and display out main dish, side, and wine, and that of course gives us this meals comment, valid meals. All right, so that's how that works, and so you can make something that looks like that. Okay, so now let's go back to the. Let me show you before let's look at this last. I'm going to show you the add meal. So here's the add meal, and I made something that looks like this, where you can put in a date. Let's put in tomorrow's date, and now I'm going to put in baked chicken, mashed potatoes, and Chardonnay. That's a valid. Click add meal, and let me first daily menus. Let me put this up, and I'm going to make it so we can maybe see a little bit better here. This is the daily menus, and this is add meal, and we can show here. This is my page which shows the menu. So right now, on November 14th, tomorrow we don't have anything. So let's put this in right here. And so does it work? Yes, it says meal added, and I display this up here. This actually is displayed out from the store procedure. When I was debugging, I wanted to display out what exactly was being inserted and so on. And this is the return message which says the meal is added, and it's over here. We can hit refresh, and we see now there's a meal there. And if we go to here, we can hit refresh, and we see now there's a 13. There's here it is, 14. Baked chicken, mashed potatoes, Chardonnay. All right. And here's what happens when we put something that doesn't work: beef steak, sweet potato, Pinot Grigio. Try to add that meal, and it says not a valid meal combination, so it did not add it. And of course, then we don't see it over here, and we don't see it over here. Okay, so So I can show you the valid meal combinations code that looks like this. Not valid meals. The menu code looks like this. It simply connects to the user, sets today's date, it sets the default. If the person doesn't enter in a date, it sets the default date to today. In fact, if the date is less than January 1st, 2018, it sets the default to today. This is this menu. It displays at the top. I put that at the top of every one. Daily menu. This is the menu. Daily menu. And then so this is where you can change the date up here. And then we have display out the date. This strto time is a good PHP function method that will take in as an argument anything that could describe time, day or time. Like the word today will work, and it converts it to the internal representation for the number of seconds, past January 1st, 1970, the Unix time. And then this displays it, and then this is a parameter, an argument to the date method, and this is the format that you want to display the date out. So that displays the date out either like this or like this, whichever one it is. This is the day, this is the day, month, year, day, year. And then this is the heading for the menu, the main dish, side dish, wine. And this just reads it up where the date is what the menu date is, and just lists them all out. Okay, so that's how you create this page here. And the last page, which is this add meal page, let's take a look at that one. That would be add meal. Same thing, we hook it up and have the menu across the top here. Of course, that could be in an include file, but I didn't want to make it too complicated. And these are the inputs coming in from the form. We've got the dates, the main, side, wine, and the function, which is simply this is the function, and we've got the selecting of this one, selecting of the side dish, selecting of the wine, and entering the date. And so here we make sure the date is a real date. We set the default. And here we check to see if the user entered in, the function is equal to add. In other words, the user clicked the checkbox. And there's something for wine, and there's something for a side, and there's something for a main, and the date is greater than, is at least 2018. Then it calls my store procedure. My store procedure takes in a date, the main dish, the side dish, and the wine, and returns a message. And I display out what that is. You notice here where did I? Yes, I display that out right here. That's this. And then I do another select to grab the message out, which is this, and I display the message out right here. And so this is the actual message that comes back from the store procedure. And it displays that after these 5 characters here. So this is the message that came back from the store procedure. All right, so down here we've got where we enter the date, and this is where we generate the first select box for the main dish. That's this thing here. Yeah, that's this. And so we have a select with the select statement, and I just made them all 8, so they're all the same size. And this selects distinct main dish and side dish. This is the exact same code for producing the valid meals at the very beginning, when we display all the possibilities for the main dish, all the possibilities for the side dish. See, this is the valid meals page. We do the same thing here because we want to create these selection select boxes, selection menus, not that have a size to them. So this displays that and displays that as options. Side dish, same thing, and the wine is the same thing. And then we've got the checkbox, and we've got the submit button. That's this and this. And that's all it is. It sends it off to itself, sends it back to itself, and that just comes in here and calls the add meal store procedure and executes and returns what the store procedure says. So it's all taken care of in the store procedure. So now's a good time to look at the store procedure. That is this. So what happens is, first of all, we want to see if the suggested combination by the manager is a valid meal. So we need to find out if the main dish, the side dish, the wine, if that combination is counted in main side natural join main wine. Recall that's how you get the rel bar, or the relation of valid meals. And so this checks to see if there is one of these, there will only be zero, there will be none or one. So count will come back 0 or 1. If the count comes back 1, then it's in there. If it comes back 0, then it's not in there. And so if num is 1, then it's a valid meal. If num is 0, it's not a valid meal. So the next tier checks to see if it's 0. If it is, it displays out not a valid meal, and then it displays out this sort of tuple form here. Or else, if it is a valid meal, that's down here, we got to check to see if the meal has already been added to the menu for that day, because it's possible that gets distracted, enters it in twice. And so here we're doing the same count question, but only on the daily menus. And so we look to see if the main dish, the side dish, the wine, and the date is already in our daily menus table. And if it's not, then we insert it in, not a problem. And the return message is that the meal was added. If it's already in there, the count is going to come back 1. It's going to come back 1. So then it's going to return message duplicate entry. It's already in there. So in other words, right now, if we look at the menu, we see that beef steak, baked potato, Cabernet is already. Oh, this is for Tuesday. Let me go to Wednesday. Just want to make me working on baked chicken, mashed potatoes, Chardonnay. So let's try to do that again. Baked chicken, mashed potatoes, Chardonnay, and we try to add that in, and it says duplicate entry. So that's how that works. So that produces that. And so again, that would be in here. If we look at go back to the database itself, and we click on routines, and we click on edit. This is store procedure here again. Take a look at this. And we've got the declarations up here, the parameter declarations up here, and then this is the code, which is exactly the code I just showed you. All right, so that should be everything that I need to show you for this second assignment. Let's see, where is it? Enter in valid meal combination for the day, displays the menu for the particular day, and displays all the valid meal combinations. Okay, good luck, and just get this running on your server and turn it in by Friday. Thanks for watching.